What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you want to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Mother?
Momiji leapt back to her feet, snatching the letter out of Shuna's hands. Rude of her, but I'd just pretend I didn't see it. Couldn't blame her. If I were Momiji, I don't know what I would have done, either. This goes beyond infamy and straight into humiliation.
So there were 2 letters? Mother, why can't you be more careful?
She slumped back down again. Aha, Kaide must have put a message for Hakuro in the letter to me. The Tengu aides surrounded Momiji, trying their best to assuage her, but it only had the opposite effect. Times like these, it's best to just leave people in peace.
That's just like her.
Hakuro, smirking, walked up to Momiji, taking the crumpled-up letter out of her hand and giving her a nod.
I see.
She has a great deal of strength but is still lacking in technique. As a fellow student of the sword, and as her father as well, I hope that the sword ogre will deign it worthy to offer her training and instruction. From your ever-loving Kaide.
So she still likes me. Ah, how lucky I am to live to see this day.
His smile couldn't have been more sincere.
Father.
My name is Hakuro, and I am your father.
Father.
Momiji's dark eyes, reminiscent of Hakuro's, teared up as she hugged him tightly. Father and daughter were reunited. The girl, no longer wary of us, would never doubt Hakuro's words again.
I must warn you, Momiji, I am a hard taskmaster on the training grounds.
Yes.
But I want to see you overcome your challenges and win the heart of Benimaru.
Yes, Father.
What? Here I was, nodding my approval at this lovely little family reunion, and now the conversation was going kind of haywire. Talk about bridging a major gap. Hakuro, usually gruff and reserved even in the best of times, suddenly had a daughter, and it turned him into a weepy, doting parent.
Hakuro.
Benimaru's words failed to reach him. He and Momiji were in their own little world.
Oh, now I see.
Shuna murmured. Everyone's eyes turned toward her. She paid it no mind as she addressed Benimaru, who was looking straight at her.
My brother, I have a message for you from Lady Alvis.
What is it?
A pained-looking Benimaru said. I could get how he felt. He must have been thinking, please, let's do this later, but Shuna was staring at him with a distinct lack of emotion in her eyes. The message, given with Alvis's accent, was this.
Sir Benimaru, I have made up my mind. I intend to defeat Lady Momiji in battle and take the right to be your wife for myself. But even in the worst-case scenario, I could always be a concubine, couldn't I? Either way, I refuse to give up, so prepare yourself.
My staff chattered with one another, their curiosity raging. Benimaru just crossed his arms in silence. I'm sure he wanted to bury his head in his hands, but I have to give him props for not doing it. Or maybe it's more like he was frozen in place, unable to move or speak. Unbeatable in battle, maybe, but powerless against threats like these. We'd just discovered an unexpected weak point of Benimaru's. Sorry, man. As someone without much experience in love, not zero experience, but not much, I doubt there's much I can do to help.
Man, life's sure hard when women are attracted to you, huh?
I tried.
Sir Rimuru.
Gapta said reproachfully.
Are you serious? Because I think you face some of the same issues.
Don't be silly, Gapta. I'm genderless now, remember?
I have no interest in silly romance. To me, Sir Rimuru is everything.
I didn't ask you, Diablo. If you have no interest, then leave me alone, okay? But even as I thought this, I could hear my staff gossiping.
Sir Benimaru is rather popular, is he not? I believe some of the people under my sister Soka's command had taken a liking to him, too, but compared with Lady Alvis and Lady Momiji, I'm not sure I like their chances.
You mean Toka, Gabble, and maybe Seika?
Right. They've already given up on you, Sir Soe, what with Soka staking her claim already.
Oh, don't be silly.
No, it's true.
Wow, it's like a harem, huh? I'm so jealous.
Come to think of it, Gapta had a point there, in the end. I began to wonder if this was the start of an envious romantic rivalry between Benimaru and him. But still, Alvis was a beautiful, reliable woman. Momiji was a little headstrong but still a nice little sister type. Between them and all the other girls aiming for a chance, Gapta was right. Benimaru did have something of a harem going. Not that he wanted one.
A harem, eh?
Remarked Gabble.
Yes, that would make anyone jealous.
Well, not so fast.
Soe replied.
Benimaru is something of a late bloomer. I would not call him particularly adept with the opposite sex. He acts tough, but I'm sure he is just as confused as all of us.
My thoughts were exactly the same. Having all this attention would be nothing but trouble for Benimaru. Shuna was watching him, too. I had a feeling Benimaru cared a lot for her sister, so I'm sure he was sensing danger from her and her overbearing ways right now.
But I think it's nice.
Geld said.
As manly a man as Sir Benimaru is, it's only natural the women around town would love him. Lady Alvis is leader of the 3 lycanthropiers, and I suppose Momiji is the daughter of Hakuro, both worthy partners. I have a lot to learn from him.
He certainly seemed enthusiastic about the idea of Benimaru finding a wife, harem or not. Geld himself cared more about his work than chasing women, so I wasn't sure whether he really meant the part about having a lot to learn. Besides, Geld was already pretty popular. As quiet, serious-minded, and responsible as he was, he had a fan base among not just high orcs, but other races as well. If he got off his ass and did something about it, he'd have a partner in no time.
Oh, no, you are doing well enough for yourself, Sir Geld. Like I said before, Toka and the others never give me a second glance. For some reason, only the men show me any kindness in my unit.
Gabble insisted. Geld nodded sagely.
You just need more chances to encounter women. I understand that a little.
He mostly worked on construction sites manned by burly male workers, so I bet he did. Someone like me with no gender, or maybe an amphibian where gender was just a messy topic to begin with, was one thing, but building a work environment where women could participate equally was probably important. It'd help encourage the men more, maybe. I'd have to think about that.
Well, I should say, there are a few female dwarf apothecaries in my workplace. We do exchange some pleasantries, but... Oh, no problem, then, right?
No, that is a problem. Those are 2 totally different monster races. You aren't okay with anything that breathes, are you, Gabble?
No, a big problem. They told me that going out with a lizard was physically impossible. I'm just so unpopular with them. Oh.
Well, don't know what to say about that. Sounds like the species difference wasn't the only wall to overcome there. Gabble may want to explore other avenues.
And yet, they keep inviting Nanso and Hokuso out to eat, or for dates in the forests. It happens all the time. I find it so frustrating.
Oh, so the species thing didn't even function as an excuse, then?
I'm not sure what to say.
Geld was out of words, unsure what else he could do to comfort Gabble.
Yes, that's why I've been thinking lately that I should take more of a human form. My own dad transformed into a tall, dark, handsome person, so I wonder if I have a chance at that, too.
Doubt it. Besides, it's not about looks. I looked like a pretty nice guy myself, but I went almost 40 years without a girlfriend. The real key is...
Don't be ridiculous. You need to get up and do something.
Right. That's correct, Soe. Sitting around all day and whining like Gabble won't win anyone over. Stop pretending someone's going to pop out of nowhere and confess her love to you, and start going more on the offensive. Too bad I didn't realize that until after I became a slime, but...
Well, yes, of course, but...
Soe's right. I heard those dwarves talking once, and they were saying all these nice things about one of your men, Gabble. All like, ooh, isn't Gazet so cool? And, oh, you think so, too. And, he's the classic strong, silent type, huh? And, he's cute, kind of like my pet lizard. They were crazy for him. So I really don't think it's just about looks, Gabble.
Wow, Gabta, way to throw him under the bus. Gazet was one of Gabble's underlings, part of Team Harayu, quiet and handy with a spear, but not exactly the sharpest nail in the box, so he was mainly tasked with guard duty for our researchers and pharmacists down in the sealed cave. He was a former lizard man, of course, and even now as a dragonute, his looks, much like Gabble's, were more reptilian. As cruelly as Gabta put it, it definitely proved that looks aren't everything.
Besides, women can be easier to attract than one would expect.
Soe added.
They can?
Very much so.
He said, half chidingly.
A lady knight from before, for example. I am unsure how she got the idea, but she seemed to have quite an interest in me.
Really? What did you do? Oh hell?
How very interesting.
Tell us more.
This was enough to even arouse my interest. Which lady knight was this? Wait, wasn't he up to something with Lytus, one of the Crusader paladins? What was up with that? I meant to ask, but it kind of slipped my mind. I spotted her looking at Soe and blushing, so I feared the worst, but...
You want to know, too, Sir Rimuru?
Of course I do. And that report you made that one time.
Ah yes, that. You see, I took some sticky steel thread in.
He was stopped mid-sentence by a feeling of impending doom from behind us, followed by an almost deafening clearing of the throat. Our little whispered chat was over. We immediately shot straight back up, faces serious. Sensing the danger, I slipped back into slime mode and attempted to escape the front line, but instead found myself lifted up by a thin, pale arm.
Enough joking, Sir Rimuru. Don't we have my brother to talk about right now?
Ah yes, that we do. We got a bit derailed, didn't we? And we sure couldn't afford to piss Shuna off anymore. Right. We needed to get serious about this. Anyway, well, not that thinking about this issue would get us any closer to solving it.
What do you think about this, Benimaru?
Personally speaking, I do feel this is all going too fast. However, one thing I can say for sure is that one spouse is all I'd like to have.
Yeah, fair enough. Being asked out of nowhere to marry would knock anyone for a loop. I know it'd throw me off. The past is one thing, but we live in an era where you're free to love whoever you want. Besides,
for higher-level magic born like ourselves, siring a child is not a simple task. Some people have many wives and they impregnate each, who must compete with one another to give birth, but I have little interest in that approach. I do not intend to keep any concubines.
Momiji watched Benimaru starry-eyed as she spoke.
So no harem, then?
No harem, it sounded like, or no polygamy, to be exact. No real reason to adopt that in Tempest, unless we were forced to because of a glut of widows or something. I was hoping that was the end of the topic, but it was really just the beginning.
Alright, in that case, I accept Alvis's challenge. I promise you, I will earn the role of Benimaru's wife with my own 2 hands.
Momiji all but shouted this declaration out to the world. I wasn't sure this is how love worked, exactly, but Benimaru seemed to have given up and didn't comment on it.
What do you think of that, Sir Rimuru?
What do I think of it? All I can say at this point is, hey, whatever.
Well, there's no problem with it, is there? I don't want any to the death duel or whatever, but if it's more like vying to woo him, sure, that's fine. If he's not up for it, we'll need to end it, but...
As long as it didn't venture into stalker territory, I was cool with it.
Very well.
Shuna said with a smile.
In that case, do as you like.
I had a bad feeling about that the moment she said it.
I can beat you, Lady Shuna.
I look forward to seeing you try, Shion.
They both smiled at each other. I wasn't exactly sure what this meant, but I hopped out of Shuna's arms anyway, sensing mortal danger. I should note, by the way, that the previously reserved and hesitant Alvis got seriously aggressive from that day forward, attacking Benimaru from every possible angle regardless of how it made her look. Momiji, of course, followed her every step of the way, resisting her efforts. The other women coveting Benimaru, of course, didn't take this lying down and immediately threw themselves into the fray. To say the least, things got intense. It kicked off the start of a new tradition in Tempest, the idea that, if you love someone, prove it to them with your own might. Love on the battlefield, I suppose.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to Neil Thakar, Aditya Sharma, Shukran, 172 Rishi, Janmar Di Malaluan, Leia, Ashley Lobo, Muhammad Noraiz Alikan, The King of 103, and last but not the least, shout out to Thomas Dick. I'll see you guys in the next video.